What's happening, fellas? Crazy Brit here, and we're back with some more action from the MLC boys. This time it's the GTTCC Elite Division, and we're at round 4. You join us at a very wet Dragon Trail Gardens for race 1. So, after 10 minutes of qualifying, Bugger has put it on pole in the Scirocco. Then we have Dimpy in second in the Swift. Scotty Boy in the Scirocco in third. In fourth, it's Infinity James in the Swift. In 5, it's Surfer in the Mercedes. And we have 6, Sharky in the Swift. In an Audi in 7th, it's Fast JMS. 8th is Scott in the Corvette. Busby Boy in the Mazda in 9th. Then we have Gary in 10th in the Audi. And last but not least, Benji in 11th in the Toyota Supra. We are missing 2 drivers. MacGyver, and who else are we missing? Just bear with me a second. Oh, Big Kev. How could we forget Big Kev? Right, so let's get back up to the front and get these boys underway. The 30 minutes of wet driving. Not sure if the rain is going to ease up, and it's lights out and away we go. They're all on wet tyres, by the way. Surfy gets a lightning start all the way up until almost into second at the minute. There he goes into first on the inside line. There's Dimpy and Bugger on the outside. Looks like they get all around the first corner very cleanly. Now we come into the chicane for the first time. Heavy braking into here. You need to watch people coming through these. Make sure you don't clip those curbs. It will bounce you a little bit of door touching between Dimpy and Bugger there. But Bugger goes through into second. Surfer there in first. Dimpy's in third, right behind Bugger. Now the FFs are starting to get closer to Surfer there as we head into the hairpin. There's James on the outside there in third. Doesn't make a move that time. Can't get the braking and traction down. But he's there in fourth, and there's Scott up into fifth then. Shortsky in sixth. Then we have Benji in seventh. Great start from him. JMS in eighth. Scotty Boy in ninth. Bad start from him. Obviously the FFs do suffer off the line. Gary in 10th, and there's Busby Boy in 11th. But back up to the top, we've had a position overtake. Let's see how Bugger did this for first position. Just sent it on the inside. Lovely stuff. Just nips in front before Surfer joins the line. A little bit of a bump there. Surfer on Bugger. As we now head into the triple apex corner. Lovely stuff from these boys at the minute. A little bit of running wide for Bugger and Dimpy. Not sure whether that'll be a penalty for them two or not. Now we head under the bridge, up the hill. Now into the double apex hairpin. A little bit wide from Bugger there. Dimpy's there. Managed to get some ground on him there. There's a penalty for Bugger. Might have cut that. Yeah, he went too wide on the last corner. Might have cut the inside a bit too much as well as he come back. So Bugger leads the way then. Breeze on the penalty. Dimpy there defending from Surfer as we go into the first turn. Long left-hander. Careful not to use too much of the gas pedal on the exit. And send you wide onto that very, very wet grass. Now we head into the chicane. Careful of the curves on the exit there. So Dimpy gets that second place locked down with Surfer in third. Now coming under fire from James in fourth. There's Scott in fifth right behind him. Get a braking right for this hairpin. You don't want to go too wide. Clip that curb on the inside there. Oh, very nice and clean at the minute from these guys' shots. He's got 1 second penalty, unfortunately. So he's going to lose a couple of positions there. We'll go back up to the front because Bugger's about to serve his penalty after the triple apex down the hill. So we'll have to see where Bugger is after he serves the penalty. Rain lashing down now. Very wet conditions on track. He's going to pull to the right hand side, serve that penalty. Is he going to lose a position? Dimpy's there. So he only lost one position. As we now come through the hairpin to finish the lap. Dimpy in first, then gets that position locked down. Bogger falls in behind him. There's Surfer in third. James fourth. Got Scott right behind him in the Corvette. Corvette should be kind of decent. Not going to have the tyre wear factor in this race, so it just depends whether he can keep the back end of that Corvette in the wet conditions. There's JMS in the Audi. Benji right behind him in Stupra in 7th. Scotty Boy up to 8th now after Sharksky saved his penalty. He dropped him down to 9th. Gary and Busby Boy right behind them. Back up to the front then. Dimpy still in first, but now he's going to come under fire from Bogger in second as we head down to the hairpin for the third time. As we go through the hairpin then, very stable from these guys at the front. Dimpy, fastest man on track at the minute with a 150.7. Dips a little bit of a tyre there into the grass. Now come through these little couple of corners here, through the right and the left. Now heading down to the triple right apex. Got to be careful, you've got to have patience around this corner, not to use too much acceleration because you will just go wide. There we go, lovely stuff from these guys. Now up to the hairpin at the end of the lap. Once again, very nice lines from these guys as we head through the last corner. We'll check out what's happening with the rest of the group. Surfer's making a break for it now in third, trying to catch the top two. There's James in fourth, still got Scott right behind him as he comes to land lap 3. Now Scott has a run though, he's on the outside. Can he get an overtake done into this first corner? Just sits behind James, and the minute, is he going to go for a dive into the chicane? Nope, just sits behind, follows him through. Playing the long game here, not making any silly mistakes. It's half an hour race, so plenty of time to go yet. Now the rain should ease up a little bit towards the end of the race. So as per the weather report, so we'll have to see what happens. But Scotty has made a little tiny error there, so that's give Fast JMS the run on him. Fast JMS on the inside gets that position done. Lovely stuff from him there. So Scott there right behind him in 5th. Let's see if he can get that position back, or if he's going to have to concede. But he's got Scotty Boy right behind him as well, making moves. McDonald's minecart. So now come on to the exit. Scott gets on that curb there. Got to be careful, that curb is notorious for unsettling the car. It is very wide through the apexes now, but holds on to that 5th position. Gets a tiny little run on Fast JMS there. Right behind him, gaining slipstream. Can he make a move up the hill? Decides not to this time, so status quo between these two, just follows him through. They head through the hairpin then. Oh, a little bit of a twitch there. Dimpy still in the way. What's happened to Surfer? Surfer's had a mistake. Let's have a look what happened to him. So we'll have to go back all the way. Oh no, Surfer, what happened there, mate? So it's coming through the, oh, he clips the curb there, just sends him into a half spin and dink into the wall. Unlucky there, Surfer. So that's how he lost 3rd position, then all the way to the back of the field. Let's see if he can make his way through. Number 33, having early problems then. He's got front end damage. Very unfortunate for him. So he's got work to do now for Surfer. Dimpy, but is still in first. Lovely Crazy Brick decal on the rear of the car. Thank you for that, mate. Number 86 coming through in first against Bogger in second. Oh, James now is in third. A little bit of a gap now behind him as we've got Fast JMS holding off Scott and Scotty Boy. He's got the two Scots behind him. As he now come through the triple right-hander, it's going to be close between these two. But Scotty Boy just sits behind Scott there. And once again, Scott getting all the slipstream he can down at the straight, up the hill. We're going to go into the hairpin. So much racing already, and not even 10 minutes into the race. A little bit of a twitch again for Scott there, trying to get the power down as we come out the corner. Is that going to give Scotty Boy the run he needs down the straight? A little bit of a flash from the headlights, trying to distract him as we go down the main straight into the first corner. We barrel there. Scotty Boy with those yellow headlights as well. Now he's on the inside for the chicane. Can he get the overtake done? He does. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Gets it done. On to the next one. Scotty Boy a little bit of a twitch there as well as he comes through the chicane. So Scott down to 6th then. Scotty Boy up to 5th. Benji there in 7th, right behind these two guys. Then we've got Shortsky there trying to make moves as well. Is he going to go for a dive in the hairpin? Decides the better of it. Just fills the mirrors up. Ooh, Benji looks like he was a little brash on the brakes there, but managed to get it stopped in time. So further back then we have Gary in 9th still, defending from Busby Boy in 10th, and then we Surfer right at the back of these guys. So he's already made up the ground that he lost onto the back of the pack. Let's see what happens going forward. A little bit of kip of gravel up onto the track from Gary there. But back up to the front, we've got Dimpy still in first, leading the way. A little bit of a shake of the car there. Not sure whether he's just trying to clean his tyres. Lovely helmet livery, by the way. That looks pretty cool in the car there. Gets a little bit on the grass there. That's going to cut him a little bit of speed compared to Bogger. Bogger might have the run now that he needs coming down the main straight as we start lap 6. Dimpy still the fastest man on track with a 150.5. Racing for Quick Fit and RSPCA. Now heading to the chicane again. Bogger still trying to get onto the back of him. A little bit of a bump of the curb there. Oh, gets a bit on the second curb as well, but manages to keep first position. Keeps that ground to Bogger. Back into third. Fast JMS and Scotty Boy are battling. Fast JMS keeps on to that 4th position. Scotty Boy there in 5th. We've got Scott in 6th right behind him. He's going to maybe try and overtake here into the hairpin. Nope, he just follows him through for the time being. Very, very close to the edge of the track there. Be careful, guys. Loses a bit of ground to there, but there's Scotty Boy getting the overtake done on Fast JMS. Gets the drive out of the hairpin he needs. Lovely stuff from Scotty Boy there. So that puts JMS down to 5th, but he's still there, trying to get back past him. We now get onto the exit curb there. Come now down into the triple apex. Very reminiscent of Quarter, this triple apex corner. Now we go up the hill towards the hairpin. Dimpy and Bogger still up in front, miles ahead of the rest of the pack. As we come through the hairpin, very close to the edge of the track there for Scott. Now we come down the main straight. So, James in third still, Scotty Boy 4th, Fast JMS 5th, then Scott 6th, Benji in 7th, with Shorsky behind him in 8th. Gary still in 9th with Busby Boy in 10th, and there's Surfer in 11th. Back up to the front then. We have Dimpy and Bogger. Bogger still trying to close that gap up to him. Can he do anything to try and mount an attack on first position? Doesn't look like he can at the minute, unless we have a rare mistake from Dimpy. Doesn't look like that this way at the minute. He's got a little bit of ground up to him there, but not too much. Still status quo between these two. So last lap for Dimpy was a 150.9, for Boggett was a 151.0, so he's just got a little bit of an edge over him at the minute. There's James in third, now going to come under fire from Scotty Boy soon. He's on a charge. Very nice colour flip livery as well there. I like it. So Scotty Boy there, sizing James up now. He's going to get his slipstream as we come down the straight, down the back straight, if you will. Up the hill we go. Check what everyone else is doing. Flash JMS in 5th. Then we have Benji up into 6th now. So Scott's had a little issue somewhere. He doesn't have damage. Just might have had a minor mistake somewhere. But now he's trying to get back past Shortsky. So it's closing up between these guys now in the bottom half of the field. Scott there as we head it down the main straight. There's Gary, Busby Boy and Surfer, all under a blanket. No position change between these three yet. Back up to the front, Dimpy now making more gains over Bogger. That gap's getting slightly bigger. James, now the gap's come down to him. Scotty Boy right there. Is Scotty Boy going to go for an attack down to the hairpin? He's got the slipstream. Is he going to send it? Not this time. As we go through the hairpin. Now for the twisty bit. Great racing so far from these guys, especially in the wet weather. I know it can be a challenge at times, but so far so good. Especially with full wet weather as well, it's a challenge having inters on and having the water meter at halfway, but full wet conditions it's even more tricky. You've got standing water and puddles on the inside of curbs. The exit curbs are very, very wet. They hold all that water in. So you've got to be mindful when racing in the wet, really. Some people really, really dislike the rain. Other people thrive in it. And it does change up the grid sometimes. But so far, so good from all these guys. Oh, back down to 5th. We've got Flash JMS there. Benji behind him. There's a little bit of a gap there. Then we've got Shortsky still holding off Scott in 8th. And then no change between the guys at the back. A little bit gap forming now between Busby and Surfer. Up back up to front. Little look in the mirrors for Dimpy. He's still holding that first position. As we're now just over the halfway mark in this first race. Hopefully the rain will start easing off anytime soon. That might invite someone to pit for inters, trying to get the best lap, the fastest lap. Obviously it is an extra point. Then now head over the curb, down the hill for the 9th lap. Through the apex we go. Oh, Scotty Boy has got past James, so we'll just have a look, see if we can see how this happened. So it does look like he's going to mount a charge then into the hairpin. So you can see there, looks like he just gets, yeah, because James goes very wide. Yeah, James couldn't get the turn down there. Must have been understeer. Didn't get the turn. There's Scotty boy. Just says thank you for that, mate, and slinks on through up into third for the last podium spot. So now James is down to fourth. Can James close that gap, or has he conceded that position? Up, back up, down to fifth. Flash JMS still holding off Benji. There's Scott in seventh. Now he's got back past Shortsky. And there's Gary on the back of Shortsky now. So this is going to be interesting between these guys as he cuts the curb a little bit there. I'm not sure whether that's going to be a penalty or not, as Shortsky goes really wide off the corner there. We'll have to see if that'll be a penalty for track limits. But there's a bit of a gap as well. Surfer must have had another incident. Yep, he's got front end damage again. Unfortunate for Surfer. Not enjoying it, the wet weather at Gordon's. So back up to the front. Still status quo between these two. You can see that gap opening up each lap. As Bogger gets on the curb a little bit there. So if nothing else happens, nope, I'm not gonna jinx it. Not gonna give in the commentator's curse. We'll see what happens in the final 10 and a bit minutes. So Bogger there in second, trying to do everything he can to catch up Dimpy. Scotty boy there in third, a little bit gap between second and third. Let's see if he can close that gap any. James there in fourth. Flash JMS going a little bit wide there in turn 4-ish? Yeah, turn 4. There's Benji in sixth, falling through. Oh, Scott's got a half-second penalty. Must have had a track limits breach somewhere, but we've got Shortsky and Gary right behind him. Shortsky defending for his life against Gary, but Gary's got a little bit of run there. Is he going to get the outside pass on him? Does he come? Oh, contact there. Shortsky just get on the curb there. He does slow up, let him pass, but that's not the best place to do it, mate. But fair play to him for waiting up for that one. Yeah, he just got on the curb and bounced the car into him. So it wasn't really his fault, but being the gentleman that Shortsky is, decided to give him the place back. So Shortsky then down to 10th. There's Surfer in 11th on his own, trying to recalibrate, but the rain is easing off now a little bit, so he might be tempted to pit for inters. We'll see how it develops, but down at the back straight we go. Well, the first back straight, the main back straight. It is still wet down here, so still got rain falling in buckets. Oh, Dimpy still in first. Imagine that gap to Bogger very well. Bogger's there in second. Then we got Scotty boy in third now, coming through the hairpin. James in fourth. That gap opening a tiny little bit between these two. Flash JMS there in fifth. Can he close the gap to fourth position? Benji sixth. Now, is he going to come under fire from Scott? That gap has closed down considerably after Scott served his penalty. So come through the twisty bits. Now over the crest, down the hill. Just watch these guys as they come through the triple right-hander. Benji got a kind of a bad exit there, gives Scott the run as we head up the hill. Can Scott get the position done? Looks like he can, but he's on the outside. That's going to give Benji the advantage unless... Oh no, there's Scott going very, very wide. Gets out onto the marbles. You don't want to be out there. But it gives him more of a straight line out of the final turn. So can he come back at him? Looks like he can as we head down the main straight. They're neck and neck. Scott's going to have the inside line for the first turn. There he is, but Benji can take a little bit more speed round the outside of that corner, and he gets that position locked down still. So Benji's still in 6th. Great battling from these guys. Don't clip that curb. Scott gets on it a little bit there, unsettles the car a little bit as we head down the straight now. So check on back behind these guys. Garrett in 8th after getting the position off from Shortsky. Busby Boy there in 9th. Shortsky's in 10th right behind. And there's Surfer in 11th, struggling, but he's pitted. He's took the gamble. He's gone for the inters. So let's see if we can get that fastest lap. If the rain continues to hold off now and get lighter, he's going to get quicker as the race goes on. But you can see Dimpy now heading up the straight as Bogger serves a penalty, and there's a gap between these two now. So all Dimpy needs to do now is keep it on the black stuff, not make any little mistakes, and it should be a victory for Dimpy. Scotty Boy in there in 3rd, coming round the hairpin, trying to close that gap up to Bogger in 2nd. It's the same machinery, same car for these guys, so got to find some time somewhere. There's James in 4th. Big gap to 3rd position now. He's going to come under fire from Fast JMS soon. So can Fast JMS close that ground up to him as we head through the first turn. The Audi looking very nice. Sponsored by Wheel Driven and Nike as we head now through the chicane. Battering those sausage curbs as he comes through. Back up to down to 6th. We've got Benji still holding off Scott. Scott's right there though. He's got a bit of a run as we come down the straight. Down the hill we go to the hairpin. And number 12 Supra defending from the Corvette number 36 to head through the hairpin. Look at the drive. Scott gets off the corner, goes a little bit wide, but straightens the car up more than taking the tighter line. As we head now through the twisty bits once again, lap 13. Just holding him off for a minute. The Supra doing a sterling job at the minute of holding that Corvette off. If he gets a little bit wide, but managed to hold it. Just as the red curb as we come through. Very nice stuff from Benji there. There's Scott in 7th then. So doing a good job at the minute. Obviously lost a couple of positions through penalties and minor mistakes, but the Corvette not doing a bad job. Especially being a heavy muscle car with all that power going to the rear wheels. As the rain is now definitely easing off, so Surfer is going to definitely be the fastest person on track. You see James has got the fast lap of 1:49.1 at the minute. There's Gary in 8th, and Busby in 9th, Shortsky 10th, and there's Surfer. Let's see what lap time he can do. Surely he's going to get a quick time if he hasn't had any little issues as he comes through the last corner, gets the drive off the corner. Let's see what time it's going to be. There he goes, fastest lap, 1:48.6, so it's definitely worth getting that extra point. But back up to the front, Dimpy Limpy still leading the way from Boggart. He's got a fast time as well of 6/10 fast to purple. So can he get that Swift to get a fastest lap on those wet tyres? Swift is pretty good in the wet, so it's very doable for him. Let's stay with Dimpy as he comes through the final turn. Oh no, a little bit wide from him there. Costly mistake there. Is that a commentator's curse? Is this a sign of him starting to make little mistakes as we head to the the end of the race. But he gets the fastest lap of 1:48.1, and Bogger has got a half a second penalty for us. So for now, Dimpy's safe. There's Scotty Boy setting the fastest lap of 1:46.8, so the track is getting faster. James were 1:47.5 in fourth. There's Flash JMS. Benji and Gary coming in through in 6th and 7th. Shortsky there in 8th. Busby in 9th. And Scott has an issue somewhere as well. He's down to 10th. So a miserable lap from him. 1:57. Almost 10 seconds slower than his previous lap. So he's had a fun lap 14. He's now come through a chicane. A 15th lap. We've got about 3 minutes left of the race, so that'll be 2 laps left to go. Surfer in 11th. He's got the fastest lap as well, 1:46.3, so the fastest lap changing between these guys. But if he can hold on to that lap, it'll be an extra point for his championship attempt. But unfortunately had a little bit of a couple incidents for him into the wall. But he's trying to make the most of it now. But back up to the front then, Dimpy in first still. The water meter is starting to go up, but that's because he's on the wet side of the track, trying to keep those tyres cool as the track starts to dry. It is currently stopped raining, so the track's only going to get faster, but unfortunately there's not enough time. You might as well just stay out on the wet tyres. If this was a longer race, we'd start thinking about pitting for dry tyres, but with it only being half an hour. So come down the straight, got a sizable gap now to Boggett in second. Scotty Boy there in third. The purple sector time. James there in fourth, still holding off Flash JMS in fifth. And we've got Benji in sixth, managed to hold on to that sixth position. And Gary in seventh, Shortsky in eighth coming through. There's Busby Boy in ninth, Scott there in 10th. Not liking the wet tyres on that culvert as it dries up. And there's Surfer in 11th. We'll have to see if Scott makes another mistake. Surfer could definitely close the gap up to Scott there, so we'll have to see how that unfolds. But we're now in the final minute, so it's going to be another lap for Dimpy and Boggett. He's now head up the hill to the hairpin for the penultimate time. Number 86 coming through the corner. Nice exit, gets on the wet stuff. There's going to be about 30 seconds left of the race as he comes through. There's Bogger coming through. So these laps that guys are going to go for another lap. There's Scotty coming through. He's going to get another lap. Then we go down to James. 20 seconds, I'd probably say, yeah, they're going to get another lap easily. So James and Flash JMS are going to click on to another lap. As they're now in the last 10 seconds of the timer. It's going to be close between these guys. Who gets another lap? Benji and Gary come through for another one. That's it. Shortsky is going to finish. Oh no, he goes for another lap as well. Gets another lap sneakily. The Busby Boy, he's going to finish in 9th. Scott's going to come home and finish in 10th. And Surfer, he's going to come home and finish in 11th. Unfortunate for him. Looked strong in the early stages, getting into first. And he gets a 44.2. Very nice lap from Surfer there. Dimpy's got half a second penalty. Should have enough gap to second. But clean all race long and then gets a penalty on the final lap. Very unfortunate for him. But if he can hold on to second, which he probably will, because that gap is a sizable gap to Boggett. So he should be able to clinch it. Oh, runs very wide off the corner, bounces on the curb. That might cost him even more. We'll have to see. Shouldn't get a penalty for that. I've seen other people go wide there and not get a penalty, so it should be okay. But looking a bit scrappy towards the end. Bounces on the curve. You can see the car physically bouncing from side to side there as he comes through the last corner. But very well done for Bimpy. It's a victory for him in first position. Well done, mate. Bugger in second. Good job from him as podium. And Scotty Boy, great job from him to come through the field. He's going to get last podium step in third. So James holding off Fast JMS. Who's going to get the run to the line? It's neck and neck between these two. James is going to clinch that fourth position with Fast JMS in fifth. Gary is going to come down the straight now and he's going to finish in sixth position. We gained a few positions through the race. Very nice to him. Shortsky in seventh and Benji is going to come home in eighth. Unfortunately lost 2 positions there in the last lap. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the comms. Please leave a like, maybe a comment or a share. But until next time, that's it, folks. City.